So my first campaign was in front of New York Fashion Week in 2015. This is without fashion at all. A friend of mine and I, we just stood out of nowhere. We stood in front of New York Fashion Week on the street. We had two locations. At one location, we had a plus size model, and on the other location, we had a transgender model.
Wow.
And we put and it was very grassroots campaign. We had like a whiteboard that said, you don't have to be a runway model in real life. And if you relate to this message, put a Be Real sticker on us.
I love that.
We just stood there to watch, are people going to notice this? What's going on? And we had tremendous support from people walking into the fashion week, just regular tourists that were on the street. We had a lot of PR. When we launched our video, we had over 100,000 views on this one the first day because we already a lot of press had already covered us. And that was it. That was my stepping stone. I said, okay, now I know at least I knew what my mission was. The business model and everything came out later, much later. But I knew my mission was to promote body positivity and self-love, especially in women. So, one step led to another. And then I started looking into different business models of fashion. In fact, the first version was an Instagram for fashion without filters. So basically promoting what people are wearing around the world. And we had over 150,000 people who joined the platform. But the revenue wasn't clear and I didn't see a very clear growth path. And it just was becoming more like an Instagram. So we switched the model in 2018 when we launched what we're doing now.
You talk about, when you mention, body positivity and self-love in women, it's clear to me that this is required because of, to your point, right? I mean, I grew up and every model was stick thin. And, most of them I didn't feel had a particularly good shape because they were so thin. But this is what fashion said women were supposed to look like. So anybody outside that, and I think that's still the case in many ways, have, not felt good about themselves, right? But the other side of that is, how far do we take, this is going to be controversial, body positivity for, obese or morbidly obese people, which is really not healthy.
So the first thing is I think it's awareness, right? I think over the years, even from the time I launched that Be Real campaign, I'm seeing there has been more awareness into that issue. I didn't know those hashtags existed, but they were coming out. There's a hashtag called F Your Beauty Standards. There's, F Your Beauty Standards. It's a hashtag. And there's people who promote that. Dove started doing a campaign recently. I don't know if you saw, but I think it was Miss Universe that just happened. And Miss Nepal is a plus size model.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there definitely has been an awareness thing. I feel like it's I don't want to consider it like a drop in the ocean. I feel like it's a movement. And the more people get aware of it, more you can try and change. So it's just bringing a change in something we've been conditioned to see for, many years, hundreds of years. And now it's just a different way of looking at beauty and people. For me, one of the major reasons why I practice mindfulness and all of that is it actually gave me the idea. I was sitting in meditation when all this came to me and I discovered that, universally, there was a need for a change. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm Gandhi and I'm going to change the world, but I am contributing at least in many ways that I can. To answer your second question, are we supporting obesity or, are we promoting unhealthy women? I think health and body weight do not correlate. You can be very healthy even if you are if you're overweight. It doesn't body weight and health doesn't really correlate, right? Many skinny people have diseases, right. So do, overweight women, so women or men. But so that's why I feel like that whole health issue has nothing to do with how you look.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.